Mrs. Greer, would you like to take attendance to see if we have a quorum?
Greg Lazaro,
Present.
Vic Beretta,
Present.
Doug Avery,
Present.
Dave
Present.
Galelas, got your last name, Dave. Lou Ferrara, he's absent. Is he?
Yes, we had a death in his family.
That's right.
Okay, let's rise. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before we go to C, under appointments, Doug Avery had asked me for a point of personal privilege, so Doug.
Thank you. I'd like to take a minute or two to express how honored I am to be here and how pleased I am at the prospect of working with everyone in this room and representing the residents of our town. I want to think that each of us has the interests of the people of Seneca Falls at heart, even if we sometimes disagree about how best to support them. I believe that for the good of the town, Seneca Falls must continue moving toward 2025 closure of Seneca Meadows. I'll continue working toward that end. I also believe that as long as 12 million pounds of garbage are being dumped within our borders each day, that the payments, as spelled out in the host community agreement, must continue. If the payments cease, then so must their permission to operate. It's my hope that the town board members will work together to promote new development and new revenue streams so that when the host community payments finally do cease 8 years from now, the impact on Seneca Falls property owners is minimized. I also promise to work to balance support for our town's programs, departments, and employees with the need for carefully controlled spending. I've had the pleasure of meeting many department heads and employees over the last 60 days, and I think they're our greatest resource. However, it's the taxpayers who pay the bill. A very fine line must be walked that balances what we need to thrive as a community and what we can afford. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avery. Under 2018 appointments, the one deputy town clerk is vacant. Do you have a name for that?
Yes, I do. Well, I have it on the, to do the appointment, I have it on the agenda.
Okay, you have it on, we're on it.
It's right here.
Okay, all these on the agenda? All the appointments?
Yes. That's what you have to go through. You have to do each one.
Okay, so that'll be talked about later?
Right.
Deputy town clerk. The court clerks are Deborah Rogers, Eileen Schmidt, and Ashley Van Doren. And they're to remain the same. The deputy supervisor,
I should just make a motion to appoint them.
well,
You have to go down each one.
you have to appoint for each year. Okay, we'll appoint them each year. I don't remember doing that last
Yes,
year.
we did.
Okay. Court clerks, I make a motion to appoint the court clerks as Deborah Rogers, Eileen Schmidt, and Ashley Van Doren.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Deputy supervisor doesn't need to be voted on. That's my appointment, and that's going to be Louis Ferrara. Deputy Highway Superintendent, I make a motion to approve Tim Pagano as Deputy Highway Superintendent.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve Nicoletta Greer as Assistant to Zoning Officer.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I make a motion to appoint Catherine Langford to Secretary to Planning and Zoning Boards.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I make a motion to approve Nicoletta Greer as Registrar of Vital Statistics.
Second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I make a motion to appoint Catherine Langford as Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I make a motion to approve as the Records Management Officer, Nicoletta J. Greer.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I make a motion to approve as Door Control Officer, Dalen Jenkins.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I make a motion to approve as member of the Recreation Commission, David Baker, and as the alternate, Shannon Kelly.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. I make a motion to approve as the ex officio Stuart Peenstra.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
No offense, but what is that?
That was going to be my question.
Oh,
Kim
okay.
can explain
We're
that.
in good company.
Yeah.
For the rec commission?
Yeah.
In the rec commission bylaws?
No, the
Oh.
ex officio.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
your
yeah.
recommendation.
That's in the record.
Yes, in the bylaw for the rec commission, the chief of police is an ex officio member of the rec commission. And I guess you guys have to approve that.
Okay, the member of the planning board has already been approved. That-
No.
No, we still have to vote on this.
Yes, still have to vote on this too.
Oh, yeah. So, I made the motion, it was seconded. We got that clear now? So I don't remember doing this list, but, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Member of the planning board would be Teresa Bradley, she was approved last week, the year-end meeting.
We don't have to do anything with that.
There's two vacant members,
Alternate.
alternate members on the planning board, so if anyone's interested, just send in a application, you get the application at the clerk's office. Member, zoning board of appeals, I would recommend Dan Emo for that.
He's already, we don't have to put him in
Well, you need his 5 years off.
there. No, are
Yeah, I believe they are.
they? Sure they are.
Yeah, Danny, his term ended 12/31/2017.
Okay, so
He's expressed an interest, and I would recommend he,
All right, there's still an opening though.
That's correct.
Yeah,
and there's one opening,
yeah, there's
It's
still
on
an
the
opening.
zoning board, right?
Mm-hmm.
so we can vote on Dan Emo. I recommend Dan Emo on
I'll second it.
my motion. Second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Still another opening on that. Please send in your applications for that if you're interested. Recommend Heritage Preservation Committee.
Go back to alternate member.
Alternate members are Frank DeJohn. Okay, I would recommend Frank DeJohn as the alternate member. Need a second?
Second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. There's one vacant, so if anyone's interested, send in your applications. Heritage Preservation Committee, Dominica Catalano, I recommend that she be reappointed.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Recommend Dwayne Moore for the Cemetery Commission.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I recommend from Town Historian Fran Barberry.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. As a town engineering firm, I recommend Barton and Judas.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Listen, before you go on, can you start at the top here?
Yes.
And then you didn't do the other two.
You said I could wait.
Well, the only one that you can put in is the one. That's this one.
Okay, I recommend for our environmental attorneys, the firm of Boylan and Code.
And you know,
I need a second. That's on top.
second.
Yeah, we're up at
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We're going back to the top. Deputy Town Clerk Catherine Langford. I need a second.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Deputy Town Clerk, Tax Collector, Tax Collection, Linda Marzan.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I recommend as the town auditors, the Bonadio Group.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Meeting day, first Tuesday of each month at 6:00 PM. I need a second.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. As our banks, I recommend Community Bank, Five Star Bank, M&T Bank, First Niagara Bank, and Lions National Bank. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. As the official town newspaper, I recommend the Revelry Between the Lakes. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. The discussion that I have with the Revelry Between the Lakes is that they're a weekly newspaper, and a lot of times they get stuff out late. Do we have a reporter here from the Revelry? No, and so they get stuff out late. Do they call the town clerk, Mickey, for information?
Yes, they have
Okay.
it in the record. I understand that the official town newspaper has to be a paper that is published in Seneca County.
Okay.
That's why we have the Revelry. So when we advertise, we have to advertise in the Revelry, and then we put it in other papers.
Okay. Do we do a lot of outreach to them when we have timely matters to get done? Will you generally call them and say, this is what we went over the board meeting, we need 48 hours to get it in and published? And, you know, they're nice.
They work with me on those, yes.
You know.
They have a deadline, but they work with me on
Okay.
it. And they're lenient. Sometimes they get it in there even if their deadline is.
Yeah.
They work with me.
You know, I usually try to get something to the Finger Lakes Times as soon as we
Yeah.
decide something, so it's, in it's in a timely fashion. But a lot of times that's lost in translation.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I make a comment? Can I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
Recently, I've tried to read before the meeting on what time it is. I know there's been a time change since that's why from 7 to 6.
Yes.
And I haven't really, in the recent issues of the Finger Lakes Times, I haven't really seen any kind of meeting date, time, the meeting date, but not the time. I think maybe you could contact the Finger Lakes Times and mention about the time, because it hasn't been mentioned in the paper. I think a lot of people are assuming it's still 7.
Okay, we do, I do specify the time. So,
I just haven't seen it. You know,
okay,
before
and
people to know that.
the report is here, I'm sure he heard you, and he'll make sure that's put in.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
But this is different from media coverage, right? This is where we have to post openings and official notices, is that correct?
Yes,
That's-
the
that's-
reveille, we have to do that, yes.
Can you have two?
We can, but you want to know, Finger Lakes Times is very expensive. Very expensive to put in, like legal notices and things like that.
Yeah, for the zoning board and planning board and all that.
Because it's daily, it's wider publication.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's
that's,
on the website, I always post on the website, and it's on my bulletin board.
that's an issue that a lot of municipalities have when they go with a weekly newspaper. You know, Seneca County does also.
But it's
People-
moot if they're the only Seneca County paper we have, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes.
I wonder what
Yes.
happens if they disappear, what happens to that report?
Then we can go outside, I
Then
guess
you
we're
can
gonna
go
have
outside.
to, we have to, yeah, because we have to publish notices.
Okay, so here we go with discussion. All in favor? Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The mileage rate will be the current IRS mileage rate, and what is that at now?
I don't know, we didn't look that up yet,
Okay,
but it's the current whatever the IRS,
that's in the 50s, so it could be.
it was 53.
It was 53.5.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's
I
that
don't know
rate,
if it's
but
still the same,
I
but
think
we
it's
have to look
58,
that up.
I'm not sure.
58?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
We can look it up to make sure, we look it up online, just to be
Two
sure.
second.
So the mileage rate is, made the motion for the current IRS mileage rate. David seconded that. And it'd be whatever the
Right.
current mileage rate
We'll
is.
look it up.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Adopting the procurement policy. Make a motion to adopt the procurement policy, which, because of our audits, we might be doing some changes on that. But for now, we'll go with this one. So I made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion.
Supervisor?
Yes.
Could a copy of that be distributed out to all department heads, please?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get it out to them.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Committee assignments? Yeah, they're all blank. Does everyone have a copy of this in there?
Yes.
I would, okay. I would like each town councilman to express an interest in what committees they would like to
In
be
a particular
on.
number, or?
You can do all of them if you want.
No.
You can do one of them, you can do two of them, whatever you have your interest in.
Prioritize it?
You can prioritize, yeah. You feel comfortable in that. If I have any questions, I'll get in touch with you. So, and then I will put this out before the next meeting. Now getting into our regular meeting. Petitioners, I have Paul Kelsey. Mr. Kelsey, are you here? Could you go to the podium? You have approximately 3 minutes to speak, and, yeah. Mr. Kelsey's gonna talk about taxes tonight.
That's right. I'm here to talk about taxes. One thing I would like to know is, I heard yesterday the dump paid up. Seneca Meadows gave us the money.
I don't know if they have or haven't. Have you received the check?
I didn't.
So they're still holding back the money. Now, I heard yesterday they're not holding back the money.
Well, the first quarter's not due, the last quarter of last year's not due yet.
Okay, but it looks like they're gonna pay up. Or else you can shut it down,
Okay, go ahead.
okay? Now, we got rid of the village because of taxes. And now I look at my taxes, it's 60% higher. Now, did you tax all the businesses 60% higher too? So Gould's got it too.
Everyone got it.
Everyone got it. Now, I don't know if my son's here or not. I asked my union president to be here. There he is. He fights every day to keep Gould's in Seneca Falls. It's a lot cheaper to run Gould's in Texas, and they got the land for it, and they got business down there. So you're increasing a business that's been here over 100 years, and employ people like a lot of people I see right now come from Gould's, retired from Gould's, and I can't see. If I take it, I take it. But your businesses, Parkers, and that, you're not going to get any new business. And that dump is going to stay open long before 2025. That dump will stay over another 100 years. You'll be able to have your great-great-grandchildren go on the 4th of July and look up and say, hey, there's snow on top of the dump. That's how high it's going to be. Because the governor of New York is not going to let that dump close, as long as they can have a place to put New York City's garbage. You know it and I know it. And one other thing is, if we need a business, let's go for the incinerator. Put it right across from Dewey's. We got 100 acres sitting out there. You got railroad tracks and everything out there. We can hit the dump at both ends. It's business. It'll apply money. Romulus is smart. They're shooting it down right now. They won't let it come in. But we've already made our mistakes. The jet plane has already left. We can't catch it now. That dump will be there forever. And you might as well just live with that and get the money you can to give it to the people to reduce their taxes. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but this is just hearsay. I think the Leyland said it's only going to cost me $12 a month. It ain't costing me $12 a month. It's costing me almost $50 a month.
A week. I said a week.
A week. All right. Well, that's almost $50 a month. And it's still a lot of money to us. I live on my retirement from Gould's, and a lot of other people do too. And I'm not in a place where I can't sell my house. I know Gould's will take it in a minute when the price is right. Mr. Foster knows that too. So you've hurt the other people trying to get out of here, because with these increasing taxes, they can get a place in Cayuga, Ontario County, cheaper. Same house, cheaper. But I don't know where you're going to save money or anything else, but I just want to know, if you get this dump money, what happens to the money you already collected on taxes? What's that going to be used for? Where is that going? I heard infrastructure, but nobody will tell you. I just don't want a secret government up here. I want to know the truth, and I want to know it. Hey, if I have to pay for infrastructure, so I have to pay for infrastructure. Somebody tell me what my money's going for. And nobody's telling me what my money's going for. I can go out in Walmart, this guy, and I know some of these up on the board. Oh, it's going for this. Oh, it's going for that. What's the truth? I heard it's going to go from a pipeline down from Cayuga Lake for water all the way up to Seneca Falls. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. Nobody said anything up on the board. If we have to have it like that, then we have to have it. But right now, I don't know nothing. I'm kept in the dark as well as everybody else. I just want to know, is there a plan for this money or not? Or are you going to give the money back? Which should never happen. But how long does this increase in taxes go for? This year? And next year? And the year after that? How long?
Okay.
It's just simple, man. Tell the people the truth.
You passed your 3 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your comments, and I think if you attended the meetings, we've had water forums, water and sewer forums, and we're planning to have another one. And look in the newspaper to see the time, look on our website to see when that's gonna be and come, and we do have plans for monies, and the board will have to discuss any new plans that we have, and I've always been open about what we plan to do with the money. I hope it goes to infrastructure, but again, the whole board has to agree on that, so. Our next petitioner is Robert McGill. He's gonna talk about incinerators.
Good evening. Thank you for the privilege. In today's paper, there's an advertisement for Sunday's meeting down at the Romulus School. Romulus Trash Train Incinerator. The problems, dangers, and alternatives to incineration. I want everybody to know they can save their time and not bother going to the meeting because it's mostly propaganda. What I've seen so far is a lot of misleading information, a lot of false information. You need to go to a reliable source, such as the EPA. Right here, 2005 figures on emissions from incinerators. It's 12 years old, and the technology's improved. And I think you'll see some discrepancies in the EPA's report into what these people have already been saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGill. Okay. Our next petitioner is Valerie Sanders, and she's going to talk about the trash train and incinerator project.
So, Happy New Year, and thank you very much, as always, for the opportunity to speak. As the 2018 chairperson of the Seneca Falls Environmental Action Committee, I'm here to ask you, as individuals and as our town board, to help protect our environment by implementing zero waste plans and policies. First, please take a stand against the Romulus incinerator proposal by contacting the Romulus Town Planning and Zoning Boards to tell them that Seneca County and the Finger Lakes region should not be the dumping ground for New York State. Please write a letter indicating that the Seneca Falls Town Board does not promote trash trains or any more garbage being disposed of in our region. We already have enough. I know some of you have seen this before, but I just wanted to let you look at again the DEC graphic. We are Region 8, which is clearly the most heavily dumped upon region in the state of New York. Actually, you guys might want to take a look at this. Just take your hands down. And I do have others, if anybody in the audience would like one afterwards, because it is a good visual. All right, you know, this is our map of New York, and we're Region 8, and this is us already. So, to that note, as a town board, I really would like to see us try to implement some zero waste policies that the DEC does recommend. And step one for us would be taking, I think, a stand against the incinerator. We already have enough. I also urge all of you to attend the informational forum about the trash train incinerator, which is 3 p.m. on January 7th at the Romulus Central School. Second, the Seneca Falls Environmental Action Committee also asks that you do everything in your power to preserve local law 3. Please be diligent in defending it against the Article 78 lawsuit Seneca Meadows has filed. By closing Seneca Meadows in 2025, our town will encourage and possibly force the New York DEC to actually enforce its own solid waste management program. And on that third and final note, I would like you to, when you get a chance, or I could actually email each of you the link, I'd ask all of you to visit the DEC website in order to formulate a local solid waste management plan suggested by the DEC. Seneca County has yet to do that. They should be doing it as a county, but if you read the DEC website, you'll see that towns, villages, etc. can unite and form a plan. So perhaps Seneca Falls could be a leader in that with Waterloo, Romulus, etc., and maybe work on our own local solid waste management plan. This can not only be a county plan, but formed by towns and villages. In order to go zero waste, we need a plan. I think I'll just close by saying I think we've had a wonderful white Christmas, and I would encourage all of you and all of us to hopefully have a green new year. Thank you.
Now, did you say January 7th at 3 p.m.?
January 7th at
It's on a
3 p.m.
Sunday?
It's on this Sunday, yep, this coming Sunday. It's at the Romulus Central School Day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your comments. Moving on to number 3, I'm going to batch these. Approval of minutes of the special budget meeting on November 13th, 2017. B, budget meeting on November 16th, 2017. And C, the public hearing and meeting December 5th, 2017. I make the motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Put me down as an abstention since I wasn't here.
Okay.
I'll stay out of it.
Okay, it still passes 3-0, so. Abstention, Mr. Avery is counted as a no vote.
That's okay.
You realize that, okay. Reports, A, from the door control officer.
There's none.
There's no door control officer report. I make a motion to approve the zoning officer report. Made the motion, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation report.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve the Highway Superintendent report.
I'll second that, and I'd like to add that a lot of people call me up, and they're doing a nice job, Jim, on keeping streets plowed and salted.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve the assessors report.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I do have something to add. In my report on the top, I'm asking the board to allow me to advertise for the open position in my office, but I see it wasn't listed as new business.
Okay. We'll discuss that over the month. We'll discuss that over the month, and,
Also, you don't want me to run an ad yet, because it will take some time by the time I
Okay.
place an ad.
I would say,
And get applications.
I have a consensus from the board of running an ad.
That's all I
Yeah,
want to do
okay.
is run an ad.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Town attorney's remarks, do you have any?
Yes,
support stuff?
yes, I do. Let me just update you folks and the board. The potential return date on the Seneca Meadows litigation appears to be April 17th, 2018, in front of Justice Doyle in Rochester. Time has not been confirmed yet, but attorneys for both parties for SMI and also for our outside counsel appears to be a recommendation of April 17th, 2018. For those of you who are keeping up on this, there will be a scheduled appearance that day. I presume it will be a scheduling conference. In other words, I don't believe any motion will be argued, but it is my presumption that Justice Doyle will set it down for various scheduling dates, depending upon where the parties are at that particular time. I think the intention of Justice Doyle to see if the parties can come to some type of an agreement between now and April 17th. A 60-day extension was requested and approved by attorneys for both sides. So it looks like the date will be the 17th, and the time I suspect will be 10 a.m., but I don't want to speak for, certainly for Justice Doyle. It's his call as to when he wants that to be done, but it will be in Rochester. The second issue is we do have, I was asked previously by the board to contact outside counsel with regard to the status on litigation for the eminent domain, and I await the board's pleasure on that as to which direction you want to go at this point. I do have counsel in place and backup counsel in place depending upon the board's preferences. So we can discuss that, but it's an issue that we should address with the whole board present. And if you'll give me some direction on which way you want to go, we will go with that.
Because of the time since the last public hearing, and
Public hearing will be repeated.
the public hearing has to be repeated.
Absolutely.
So my belief is we need to go ahead with that, because that's the course of action we're going to take, because of increased business up on 318 and Town of Tyre is going to be using that. Any new businesses that go on the 318 corridor, and that's been a plan all along. Correct, Mr. Condino?
Yes.
Okay. And I think we have to go along with that. We've had meetings, we've made numerous attempts to contact the owners. It hasn't been successful in contacting the owners. I think we have nothing more to do except to go with the eminent domain. Of course, since there's been a long time lapse between the last public hearing, we need to schedule another one. So I think today would be a good time to schedule another one. How many days advance do we need?
Whether you wish, whatever you wish to do with it is a subject that can be decided by the board, but if you're going to have a public hearing, my suggestion, my advice would be to schedule the public hearing, and then at the conclusion, after listening to the public comments, the board can make an informed decision as to which way it wants to go, but at the very least, get the public hearing in due course on the road, because it would be for our February meeting, and then it would probably be a month after that. So we're losing time, if you will, a month at a time, and Nikki needs time to get it published and properly scheduled for a public hearing. If at the close of the public hearing you don't wish to do anything, that's fine, but if you want to do something in an orderly fashion, we should at least get that public hearing noticed one way or the other.
When's the date of our February meeting?
February 6th.
February
February
6th.
6th.
Yeah.
I would recommend that we start our regular meeting at 6 o'clock on February 6th, and then go into recess and have our public hearing at 7 o'clock, starting at 7. And then if we needed to go back into our regular meeting, we could go back into our regular meeting. So it could be a longer night, but I think that's the best time to schedule it. It's 1 month from now. Make the notice to Revelry. David, I'm sure you'll put it in Finger Lakes Times. Is that okay to the rest of the board?
I'm just curious, in the past, we've had the public hearing first and then the regular monthly meeting. Is there a reason to reverse it?
No, we could do,
Doesn't change, doesn't change.
we could, we could do it any way we wanted to. I just thought that might mix it up a bit. If we finished our first meeting within an hour, then we just have the public meeting to go with.
That's fine.
In one follow-up, I would note that that April 17th date on the Seneca Meadows issue, from my own background practicing in front of Justice Doyle, my experience has been he holds these conferences at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The notice that I received by email doesn't have any indication, so it could be at 10 in the morning, but my own experience, I've appeared in front of Justice Doyle on numerous occasions. My guess is that it may very likely be in the afternoon at 2 p.m. If anybody is noting their calendars, that would be the most likely time from my point of view for that April 17th date. That's all I have.
So let me make a motion to have a public hearing on February, what is that again?
6th.
February 6th, starting at 7 o'clock on the issue of eminent domain in the Ludovico Trail. So I made the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve the town justice's report.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve the town report for water and sewer.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I make a motion to approve the police chief's report.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Instead of the report, it's supposed to
Yeah. Okay, Barton and Judas from Peter Baker writes, in lieu of a written report to the town board this month, we were hoping to set up a separate information session meeting with the board to discuss the current and planned infrastructure projects. As you know, we are working on several projects and believe this will allow sufficient time to answer any questions for both new and existing board members. With a new year and several projects in various states, we felt that this was a good time for an update. You have some dates in mind?
Well, I believe there's a meeting, a special board meeting scheduled for the 16th.
Okay, yeah.
It's probably a great time to do it.
Okay.
Part of the reason for I'm on the project we're working on, so just my initial thought is on the 16th, but you can be here anytime.
Well, we were going to do that because of possible bonding, and that group, the Dunnigan group, wants to come down and talk to us, so I had to schedule a time. It would be at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on the 16th.
Yeah. So is the 16th good for people?
Yes.
Okay, so the 16th, we can have that meeting with the bond starting at 5:30, and hopefully that's not going to take over an hour.
We have to publish that as a public
Yes,
hearing.
yes.
Okay, so you want to start at what
And-
time?
And, well, the forum is just a discussion
Okay. No, I'm talking about the public hearing.
on bond.
Mhm.
Council, that's at 5:30.
Public hearing at 5:30. Okay. 'Cause I have to publish
And,
that. At 6 o'clock.
yeah. And your meeting will start right after that, and that'll be a forum, question and answers. You'll give a short presentation, and then you'll take questions.
So I think about this, did a similar presentation last year about this time. So, yeah.
So and anyone in attendance may ask ask those questions, okay? We're gonna, keep it one question per person until everyone's had a chance to answer questions, and there can be more people coming up and same people coming up and asking second and third questions if they felt it was the clarification questions. Okay, and that'll be on the 16th of January. Under communications, I make a resolution to approve all the communications received.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Under old business, nothing to report on the sale of condominiums and surplus properties. We're still at the same juncture as last month.
This guy really disappeared.
We have two properties that are hanging.
We have two
We have 10
properties.
Fall Street and we have 60 State Street.
That's correct.
Both are not closed.
That's correct.
I don't know what's happening.
They closed on these.
You speak louder. What are the two properties?
There's the
And Fall
old
Street.
police station and the old town hall.
Thank you.
Or the old village hall. And I'm sure you remember that well, Brad. Write-off on uncollectible receivables, nothing to report on that. Mr. Forrest, did you have anything to report on the Route 414 sewer line transfer from IDA to town?
Not at this point, still waiting for some of the easement issues to be resolved.
Okay, under new business, A, authorize town supervisor to invest town monies. Like someone else to make that resolution. Okay, I guess I don't invest any money.
You gotta have that.
Yeah.
That's a must. You gotta do that. It's just.
I'll make a motion that the supervisor invest our town monies and the banks that were listed earlier.
Second.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The delegate and alternate delegate to Association for Town Meetings. I'd like to make a motion, and I'm not sliding you, Mr. Avery, but David's been a long-term member of this board, so I think we should give a delegate. And Nikki, can Doug attend that meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can attend and see what it's all about,
Sure.
too. Okay.
Well, he
So-
can be the alternate.
Yeah, he can be the alternate. So David would be the delegate at the Association for Town Meetings, and Doug would be the alternate delegate. Okay, so all in favor of that resolution?
All right.
Aye.
Who seconded
I can second that.
that? Okay.
Oh, is there any
That's
further
okay.
discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. C, approval of special events. Any special events?
Nothing new, but I did want to remind the board that on Saturday, January 20th, the Women's March is, you approved that last month, but that is going to happen on Saturday, January 20th. Quite an involved process. Chief Buster has put together a meeting on Thursday with all the parties involved, so we make sure we have a really good handle on parking and all those kind of things. Also want to let you know that their speeches part, the rally at the end, will be held at the community center that day. We've had quite a few meetings with their group, their organizers, so I can control how many people come in and out, all that kind of stuff. But we have a meeting this Thursday at 1 o'clock, and so just to let you know we're on top of it, trying to make sure we don't get surprised like last year.
Yeah, they were, what were they, almost 10,000 people last year.
10,000 last year, so hoping for a little less this year.
Have they estimated this year yet?
Well, based on their Facebook posts, there's about just over 1,000 that are saying that they're going. A whole lot more that are interested. I think it's going to depend on weather, but we will be prepared for 10,000 and see what we get.
Just another question, how did the ball drop go New Year's Eve?
Excellent. Yep. It was a cold night, not as many in attendance, but it was well attended, and no issues whatsoever.
Okay.
Chief, do you have backup from outside agencies for the special events that's coming up?
For the 20th?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
I would ask the board that since we do have some outside agencies coming in for backup for assistance, that it's customary that certain things, any refreshments, meals, anything?
For this event, I don't think that's going to be necessary, but we'll see what it develops into. We're organizing an action plan right now for this event. We'll discuss that.
So we would handle it as we did before then, that's fine.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have a resignation here of the school crossing guard, Gino Coretta. I make a motion to accept
I'll second it.
resignation. Second, how long
I'd like to
is,
thank him for all the years of service that he put in as a crossing guard.
how long has he served?
How many years was he in?
Probably, I'd say close to 20 years, something like that.
20 years. Yeah, it was quite a while.
Yeah. He's done a great job, you know that. They're out in all kinds of weather. So thank Gino Coretta for his service.
Supervisor, I'd also like to personally thank Mr. Gino Coretta for his years of service. I know for as long as I've been chief, him and the other crossing guards are dedicated employees that show up every single day, every morning, every afternoon, never complain. They're the ideal employees, and there to make sure that the kids cross safely, and I appreciate his service.
Motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The community center, the train HVAC contract.
Yep, I met with Supervisor Lazaro a couple weeks ago. Just to give you an idea, we've had in the past 3-year contracts with Train, who put in the equipment at the community center and at Business Park, and they've serviced it over the course of 3-year contracts. Our 3-year contract is up, which I wasn't aware until I got this delivered to me. The gentleman dropped it off, asking for a new 3-year contract. I did put an email to you folks last week. Contract year, and what it covers is any and all maintenance. It's preventative maintenance. It's also maintenance of breakdowns. They come as 24/7, 365. Emergency calling. They come in. They fix whatever happens. If there's a heating unit goes down, if it's a Sunday, they do come in. They change filters. We do have to purchase the filters. It's the only thing not covered. Everything else is covered. They do quarterly maintenance. They go up, clean, do all that kind of stuff. They do our community center and out of Business Park. 3-year contracts, and the equipment is expensive when you need to fix it. The 3-year contracts, first year is $17,678. It is provided. It has been in the budget. It is in the budget to handle that. So I just need to throw that out to you folks as to how you want to proceed.
I'll make a motion that we do our train HVAC contract 3 years for $17,678. It's in the budget.
It does progress up every year, 2%.
Yes.
Motion made. I have a second. Seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Under F, Parks, Recreation Leader position.
Yes. Another subject I met with Greg about a couple weeks ago. You know, that back in the summer we lost the assistant rec director. In the process since then, we did not refill that position. It has added extra strain on both myself and Missy Jones regarding the different things that go through the office. In the process, during the budgeting sessions, I came up with a plan to possibly fulfill a position in there that would help alleviate the process that's going on down there, but also to deal with, get us a more consistent approach in the evenings by having the same person every night at the community center till 9 o'clock. This person would work from noon to 9 or 1 to 9 based on hours. And they work Monday through Friday and weekends as needed with adjusted hours. When I put that proposal together, I also counted in that we would save money by not filling a regular position, which is a higher salary position, by also adjusting community center hours to better take better advantage of busy times and slow times, but also alleviating some part-time supervisor budget hours by eliminating the need for those during the afternoon and the evenings. And when I sent you all an email showing the savings there. Some of you saw it during the budget workshops as well. But all the cuts to the process would be about $76,000. The proposal would add about $39,000, so we would save from last year's budget about $36,000, almost $40,000 by filling it this way. The plan would be to hire a full-time recreation leader. That position is a civil service but non-competitive, no test involved. Just have to fill out a new application and do a new job duty statement, and also prove that in the budget that position exists. And once we got all that satisfied, a new person could come in. We do have a person on our staff that is doing that, most of those jobs in a part-time position now, has done it for a few years. Also interned for us 3 or 4 years ago. Did a great job. He's worked at Spark, he's worked for us at the community center, he's helped with tournaments, he's more than qualified. He was qualified when we took applications for the assistant rec director that we ended up not filling. And so I would recommend, if you guys so choose, that we promote that from within. Somebody's already with us. I've spoken with the county. We do not necessarily have to go out and advertise if we have somebody within our agency already that's willing and able to do the job. And so first, I guess I have to get your idea if you are all right with filling that position. And secondly, I can give you the name of the person if that's correct, the way we want to go.
I think we should fill the position. I know we talked to it in the budget when Vic and I were here doing the budget. You had it all planned out and stuff. We've had emails. You've been sending us emails on it. I know it's Mr. Paul Russo who you're recommending for this rec leader position. Can we make a motion to put Mr. Russo in?
First, we have to approve the position, which is in the budget.
Okay,
So make the motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve that position. It is in the budget.
And need a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion?
Jim, does this displace any part-time employees? that are-
Yes, it's some part-time employees that are in the week who have other jobs that work for us part-time in the evenings. Yes, it does.
And what would the salary of this
It
position
should be
be?
$14 an hour.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. That position is created. I need the second motion to
Second
appoint.
motion to appoint Paul Russo at $14 an hour for recreational leader position.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And I think I see Mr. Russo sitting here tonight. Paul, you want to stand up?
I would like to add real quick, just so everybody knows, Paul has learned an awful lot on the job, but he also has a degree in sports management from Gannon University out of Erie. He did intern with us 3 years ago for part of his education, and he's willing to learn and do whatever. He's been a great employee. He's had some up and downs, which is part of the process, but he's ready, willing, and able, and I'm pleased to have him. And I thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just want to thank everyone. Thank Mr. Spina. Obviously, he's been a huge mentor to me, and well, obviously someone I can look up to for sure. Someone I can always talk to about whatever. So I can't thank you enough, obviously, and everyone on the board, Supervisor Lazaro. Can't wait to get started. So thank you again. Look forward to working with everyone.
Still going to volunteer for the Italian festival?
I'll see why not.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for coming. Appointment of part-time deputy town clerk. Nikki,
Okay,
you've interviewed.
Yes, we have done interviews, and I would like to appoint Melissa Howell. Melissa is a resident of the town. She's worked for Mr. Seneca Luzolo at point. She will be part-time. And I believe it's 12. Gosh, I forgot. I have it in my office. I don't have it here.
Okay.
It might be 12.50 an hour. I'm not sure.
$12.50 an hour.
Yeah, I believe. I'm not sure on that. I'll have to check that out. I have it in my office and talk to Beth about it. She will be working 1 to 5 in the afternoons. So the office is covered.
So I make the motion to approve Melissa Howell, Howell,
That's correct.
as a part-time deputy clerk. She'll be working in the afternoon, and she'll work at approximately $12.50 an hour.
I'll check that out to make sure.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Justice Court records. This morning I received a letter, and it states Section 2019A of the Uniform Justice Court Act requires that town and village justices annually provide their court records and dockets to their respective town and village auditing boards, and that such records then be examined or audited, and the fact be entered into the minutes of the board's proceedings. The Unified Court Systems Action Plan for the Justice Courts includes initiatives to improve accountability and control over justice court finances and records. Among the initiatives is increased monitoring of the town and village board compliance with Section 2019-A. Accordingly, I am requesting that you provide a copy of the audit or examination for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017 of your local court's records and a copy of your board resolution acknowledging that the required examination or audit was conducted. Please email the report and the resolution to, and they give you the email address. And that lady's name is Joan, C-A-S-A-Z-Z-A, Internal Control Liaison, New York State Office of Court Administration. And then they give the address. If you have any questions, please contact Joan. Thank you for your cooperation. So I need a couple of volunteers on this board to conduct that audit. Is there anyone who wants to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, I have
I
David.
think last year, didn't they do their own, and they had their own accountants, I think,
Yes.
put money together last year, so I'd be willing to. I don't, Doug, would you like to learn that?
Sure.
I volunteered
Let's
you,
have
Doug.
Lou do it.
Let me get you in there.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, and friends forever, Dave.
I make a motion to appoint David and Doug to monitor that. One of you guys gets to judge, talk to one of the judges or the court clerks and ask them, when, did you have a copy of this in everyone's packet?
No, I didn't. I will give them a copy. Also, there's something that, well, they can bring it back at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Because I have to have something in the minutes to show that it was done.
Okay.
And if you don't get a chance to do it this month,
You got until, I think,
Yeah.
What's the date? I think it's like 2 months, I think they gave him last year.
March
Yeah.
1st.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got to get it done.
So,
Next couple of months.
Because I remember last year, I think Sean had his own account to do his, and I
Yeah.
forgot who did Chuck
But
last
we
year.
have, you have to
Yeah,
sign off on
you gotta sign off on it.
that you've seen it. You know, I know what it.
okay, so I'm, board, I make a motion to approve Dave and Doug. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. And there's no need for an executive session. I move to pay the bills.
Motion, we pay the bills.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Special order of the day, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.